Hello. Um, so I was trying to post some longer videos, but those were not working. So I'm just gonna be posting some shorter videos and just try to share more often, but not ramble for as long. And something that I was just thinking about, with the state of everything going on in the world and the civil unrest and the political violence and the polarization and um, all of the things that are going on, mass immigration, environmental concerns, all of these things, and the increase in violence and crime and aggression. Um, it's very obvious to me that we're going through moral rot and decay in our world today. And I just, I think it's really interesting because a lot of people love to hate on Christianity because the caricature of the religious right, the kind of Reagan era religious conservatism. Not that it doesn't exist today, but we have seen a lot of people, institutions, celebrities, even the government, trying to back away from Christianity. And, we're living in this age of moral relativism where there is no right or wrong, and everything is sort of morally gray. And I've seen people post this, even if you don't believe in Christianity, even if you don't believe in Jesus, even if you don't believe that any of these things happened, there is no denying that if you study the Gospels, if you practice what Christ preached, then the world is a better place. If you follow the 10 Commandments, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, etc., it seems so simple. And people, like atheists and stuff, always make the argument of well, people shouldn't need God or higher power to help them be a good person. And if you need that, then you're obviously not a good person. But, just look at the world. And I really think that, for all the faults of Western civilization and things that have happened and imperialism and the wars and things, I think the redeeming quality and what has allowed it to continue is those values, having positive morals and actually caring and doing the right thing regardless of the personal cost. And we're really unraveling today because of all of this, throwing out the baby with the bathwater, trying to basically undo all of Western civilization because of flawed history and flawed past. It's not to excuse the injustices of government, the injustices of church, racial injustice, gender-based injustice, all of those things. But God was against those things. Jesus was against those things. He, protected the innocents and preached, non-judgment. But at the same time, he was not a coward, and he would put his foot down in the situations in which it really mattered. And if you really study and read for yourself and try to understand it for yourself instead of going along with the stereotypes and the caricatures that are made and thinking that it's one way. It's a relationship with God. It's going to the Creator. It's saying that I can't do this on my own because we've all fallen short. We live in this evil world. We see all this evil around us, and we have this within ourselves. We know the thoughts that we have. We know the things that we struggle with, that we can't move on from. And some people choose to, go to the dark side. They choose the path of self, which essentially is all that, the left-hand path truly is putting yourself over all things and putting yourself in the place of God, that you can make those decisions for other people and those executive decisions to, try and reorder the universe in your favor. But there is a cost to that. And, there's a cost to all of these things. But These laws that were given throughout the Bible, throughout these different time periods, have to be taken in context. Some of the teachings are universal, like the Gospels are universal. That's why they were told in parables to be universal. But we have to take it in context to understand the law. But at the same time, many of these laws, just as laws are meant to be, are designed to keep order and peace and safety for all. And I'm not saying that, we live in some ideal world where justice prevails and bad things never happen, but that world, again, it just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist until God comes back and recreates the world in the original design. And people, ultimately it's up to people to make that choice, and that's the beauty of free will, which is what is given from God, is free will. And that's not the gifts of the devil, that's not the gifts of this world, because when you do, sign those contracts and do those actions, you are signing something away. And it's not to say you can't get it back. You can get that back through Christ and through following the way, being humble, asking for forgiveness, and walking the narrow path instead of going through the wide gate, of which, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. But we see what, good intentions detached and decoupled from reality can make for some pretty bad decisions that can affect a lot of people. So anyways, just wanted to share a little quick ramble. I'll probably be having to make shorter videos, but maybe that's a good thing. So I guess I'll let you all go for now. Take care, stay safe.